My name is Charles William, and I was arrested July 17, 1995. And they had a warrant out on me for a crime I didn't commit. On September 11, 1997, I went in front of Judge Riley. And during that time going in front of Judge Riley, they didn't want me to be in the courtroom. The reason they didn't want me to be in the courtroom is because my attorney, Michael Mann,
in my opinion,
Michael Mann had told me there was a misidentification. Said the young lady said that the man who robbed her was 6'2", 6'3" or taller, 20 to 25 years of age. Okay, I stayed at the courtroom. My attorney, Michael Mann, asked for a motion for dismiss on the grounds that it was a misidentification. But Judge Riley, he bound the case over anyway. He showed bias towards the defendant. And when the case was bound over, he gave Charles William a $165,000 bond. And at that time, I couldn't make no $165,000 bond. In 1997, Henry Johnson, he had my case for a bond hearing. And during that bond hearing, they had identification, in-court identification. And during that in-court identification, they had Sabrina Reeves there, who was the manager. They had one of the person who ran the clerk. And then they had the detective, Crucible. They said that if we identify him, they would leave my bond to $165,000. They said if it didn't identify me, it would cut my bond. Miss Sabrina Reed, who is the manager, couldn't identify me. The witness, Miss Kiana Harris, couldn't identify me. Detective Crucible couldn't identify me. So they cut my bond to $51,000. When they cut my bond during the $51,000, they had me to stand up in court. And this was the first time that Sabrina Reed saw me. Federal government had the same case. So we went to federal government on May the 6th and 7th. And Miss Sabrina Reed said that, yes, the man who robbed me was bald. She never saw me but one time, just in the bond hearing, and I was bald. But the surveilling the camera showed that the man who robbed her had on a hat. You could not see his hairline, so she lied on the oath. Detective Crucible got on the witness stand, said that Miss Reed said the man who robbed me was 5'9", 44 years old, and weighed 165 pounds. On cross-examination, my lawyer gave him some papers. Said, do you remember at the preliminary hearing that Miss Reed said this him, that the man was 6'2", 6'3" or taller, and said the man was 20, 25 years in different age and didn't get no weight? So he lied on the oath. And the judge, they dismissed my case on inconsistent misidentification, and the Superior Court picked the case up. When the Superior Court picked the case up, during my trial, we had no evidence. You had the federal agent, Chimmin. He got on the witness stand and said that we dismissed the case, so we tore up the evidence, which what we had. It was a wallet. Fingerprints on the wallet wasn't my fingerprints. The fingerprints at Burger King wasn't my fingerprint. The person in the surveillance tape, it wasn't me. So I was tried with no evidence. Todd Ashley, Miss Wilson, they withheld exculpatory evidence. Now, exculpatory evidence could have freed me. And that evidence was my fingerprints, my height, and my age. It was 20 years different in age. It was 8 inches different in height, and the fingerprint wasn't mine. I was sentenced life without parole plus 20 years. That means you never get out of prison. You do 20 years, then you start on a life of doubt. The judge took it upon herself and gave me a legal sentence. The judge would not let my key witness testify. I had 12 witnesses in this case. The federal government had interviewed these 12 people, but the state refused to interview these people. So I was sentenced to prison and justice. It was at that time, this happened on August the 29th. September the 1st, the former jury came back. And the former jury told my attorney that something happened in the jury room. It wasn't right. And my attorney asked the former, what happened? And the former said that 7 people were saying not guilty, 3 undecided, and 2 were saying guilty. They said, how you come up with a guilty verdict? They said, subpoena us, and you will find out. When I got my case on appeal, I went 4 years without an attorney. They refused to give me an attorney. Ms. Johnson Wilson with interfaith system, she withdrew from my case because she was in the cahoot with the DA and the judge. The judge, the sentence she gave me, she didn't merge the armed robbery until the aggravated assault. She violated my constitutional right by not letting my expert witness testify on my behalf. Judge Dempson was the head judge, one of the top judges, paid Dr. Cole to come to testify on my behalf. The same expert witness testified on my behalf in the federal court. But just imagine that a judge paid an expert witness to testify on my behalf and a judge refused to let the person testify. He had violated my constitutional right by not him testify. His testimony could have freed me. The fingerprint could have freed me. The height could have freed me. The age could have freed me. They didn't want to free me. At that time, a lot of things was going on. 911 was going on. Alameen was going on. His trial was going on. And by me being Muslim, they had a strike against me. The first strike against me, walking in the courtroom, being black. That's one strike. Strike 2, being poor. Strike 3, being lack of knowledge. And strike 4, being a Muslim. So I had no chance. They had handcuffs on me, had a cell waiting on me before I even got to prison. But when I was sentenced, I went through Jackson. Then I went to prison, Valdosta. They refused to give me an attorney, appeal attorney. Georgia Supreme Court said that we have right for an appeal attorney. But I went 4 years without an attorney. But I went in the library and I fought every day, learning how to fight the system. I had no help. I wrote NAACP, no response. I wrote SCLC, no response. I wrote Living Civil Union, no response. And I wrote the Justice Department, no response. So I fought this battle, me and God. I never gave up because God never gave up. My family, my friend, everyone knows that I was sentenced to